And yeah, we get people back on the road hopefully within 24 hours.
Given unicycles.
Right, we're all going home because he said, that man on the telly said we have to. And what did we see?
A dead guinea pig.
No. Butt plugs, dildos, chains, whips, you name it, it was in there.
Hello and welcome back to Taxi Talk. I'm David Hunter, and joining me today we have Chris Talia. Did I pronounce that right, Chris? No, go on, Chris. It's French. So
Tala.
Tala.
Yes.
Now I know.
Right. There we go. We got it.
I've been called worse.
Yeah. Begins with a T and ends with a T. But there you go. And also Julian Barnes, who's come all the way from
Wigan.
Sunny
Wigan. It's definitely sunny today.
It is, isn't it? And you join us just before going up to Portugal for a bit of rest, don't you? So
yes, a week's holiday.
I do appreciate you being here, Julian. Now, Julian, you've got one of those faces that we've all seen around the trade for many, many years.
Yeah, this is true. Probably approaching 15 years now.
Yeah.
Started life as an MD with Cresta Cars in Manchester. So
Cresta, that was quite a large outfit.
It was. Yeah. 500 car fleet.
Mm-hmm.
We grew from probably 200s up to 500 or 600 drivers. We sold in 2019, July 2019. I then stayed on as a...
That was good timing, by the way.
It certainly was, yeah.
What happened in 2020?
Yeah, just before COVID. But again, having said that, we had a really good... I wouldn't say we had a good time, but we did okay with COVID. We seemed to be definitely in and around Manchester, we were the go-to taxi firm for everybody that needed to get about. We had some very good contracts, whether they were school, Northwest Ambulance, Majesty's Prisons.
I think a lot of companies in COVID, obviously it was a time to sort of tighten your belt and think, well, this is where we're overspending.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it did seem to be quite profitable because the government was throwing money at those sort of contracts.
Absolutely.
There was furlough and so on. So I actually think for those more savvy operators, it was a great time to sort of clean up and...
It was, you hit the nail on the head. So you started to question all ingoings, outgoings, and then, we just tightened our belts and furloughed an awful lot of people. And we had just skeleton staff that really seemed to work. I headed the driver liaison area. That every day you were going into battle, or that's how it seemed, that you were walking into the unknown. You weren't sure whether you were going to go home or whether you would contract this horrible disease. But we stood firm, and then we sort of drifted when Boris Johnson, in his infinite wisdom, said everybody has to go home. All your staff took it as gospel, so they down tools and said, right, we're all going home because he said, that man on the telly said we have to. So we quickly got back into the swing of things, and within 2 or 3 weeks we were back up to 200 or 300 drivers. So we I wouldn't say we had great times, but we stood our corner, definitely.
No, I think a lot of operators sort of fell off a cliff, didn't they? March the 23rd, I remember that it was like that, nothing. But then bit by bit we realised we could diversify. Some were doing food deliveries or more NHS work and so on. So difficult period, but we got through it and we're here today.
That's right.
Who did Cresta sell to then back in 2019?
So it was a firm, a petroleum group. So they had about 12, 15 petrol stations in and around the northwest, and the owner then wanted to buy into a taxi firm. He saw the relevance between obviously petroleum and
but they were all electric vehicles.
We're more hybrid. So there's still a great need, let's be honest, for petrol and diesel.
So obviously you dealt in your capacity as MD with drivers on a daily basis.
Yes.
How do you deal with drivers that may feel they're not earning as much? How would you, if they came and said, look, boss, I'm not earning enough, what's the first thing you kind of advise him? And secondly, what makes the best driver, the most prosperous drivers, do you think?
For me, it was all about attitude and politeness. So I would see, I'd often have driver chats, and you'd look at a type of driver that was prepared to work very long hours. He loved account work. He didn't mind the travel, but above and beyond, he was always polite.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a nice people person. And when you looked at the figures at the end of the week, these were the guys that were earning, you know, in excess of.
Strange how
over
that
£1,000.
correlates, isn't it? The nice drivers, the hungry drivers to do the
Absolutely.
work, are the ones
Yeah.
that end up
The
earning the
ones-
most amount
yeah.
of money,
Big money.
If you
and
start-
are less troublesome as well for
Exactly.
If you
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
cherry picking, that is a route to a downward spiral, isn't it? in
Of
terms
course,
earnings?
yeah.
Yeah, the guys that you didn't see were the guys that made the money, because they'd
Yeah.
no interest in coming into an
They
office.
just want to be earning the money.
They were out
Wheels
there
are
earning the
turning.
money.
Yeah.
They were saying please and thank you.
you. Every job and any
their
job.
tips were going up
Yeah.
and up.
So it's a question of attitude, really, isn't it? You've
Absolutely.
got positive attitude,
Yeah, yeah.
enjoy people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best job on the planet, isn't
Positive mental attitude in every business life gets
Yeah.
you everywhere, really, doesn't
Absolutely.
it? So the drivers that come in and going, oh, boss, I've had a bad week, I'm not earning, and then you suddenly look at their shift patterns and realising they're
it? Yeah.
coming out there, going off there, and it's
Yeah,
no
it's-
consistency.
It's always the operator's fault that a driver doesn't make any money.
Of course.
When you sit a driver down and say you can earn in excess of over £1,000 a week, but you have to put the work in, you have to be cute where you're working, you have to try and analyse, you know, the different areas that you need to work in. But yeah, it's, you know, it's really easy if you sit down and look at the bare bones of taxi driving. You get in your vehicle, you work as hard as you can, be polite as you can, and success will follow.
Yeah.
So you obviously did that for many years. Where does your journey take you next after Cresta Cars?
So I moved over to Freeway Insurance as their partnership director. So I was there to grow partnerships and just to spread the brand. It was an already very big brand within the taxi industry. But again, I didn't fall far from the tree. It was still within the industry, which I wanted to stay in and love. And stayed there for a further 2.5 years. And then moved over to the Dams Group and Edge,
Yeah.
where I'm now working as head of commercial operations
Wow.
for the Edge Group, which, yeah, I'm pleased to be there. You know, it's a very, very good firm, PLC,
Yeah.
which is quite rare in our industry.
Yeah, yeah.
So it sort of floated my boat. You know, they do things correctly, and they wanted to invest heavily in my trade, which is the taxi trade, which again brought me to the front door.
So for the viewers though, what does Edge do? What does the Dams Group do?
So basically, in a nutshell, Dams is direct accident management. I work for Edge, which is the taxi division, and if a driver's been involved in a non-fault accident, more often than not, as we all know, he needs to be put into a vehicle straight away, and he needs that helping hand. So we're there to help him get back on the road with, you know, providing that vehicle, credit hire that vehicle to the driver at no cost, and also provide legal services if the driver needs, you know, that type of service.
Yeah.
So
What's the turnaround of getting a vehicle? So I have an accident on Monday evening.
yeah,
It's not my fault.
yeah.
How quickly can I be back in the car?
So the driver initially would contact our claims division. We would speak to the driver, ascertain the issue, look at the problem. If it was deemed a non-fault, more often than not, providing he's in a decent service area, we could probably get that vehicle within 24 hours.
When you say decent service area, you're talking about the licence and authority for the plate of the vehicle.
So,
Right, okay.
so again, we have upwards of nearly 500 plated vehicles across the UK,
Okay.
spread across 3 different bases, strategically positioned in the UK. So in the event of that accident, let's say it's a PCO driver or a Wolverhampton, I know that might be swearing in certain circles, but we can quite happily provide that vehicle next day.
Do you have a large network of fleet cars then ready to go then?
Yes, yeah.
Probably one of the largest fleets you think in our industry.
Yeah, we have across our brand, we've probably got upwards of 1,500 vehicles.
Wow.
Of which around about 500 are plated taxi vehicles, private hire vehicles.
And is it more like for like? So if I'm driving a Mercedes E-Class,
yes,
then I can expect to get something of a similar ilk.
Yeah, we found, and again with my background knowledge of the trade, that we were looking at quite a few accident management firms that would rent a vehicle that was so substandard to a driver, and we needed to address that. So when I came into Dams, we spoke a lot about the quality of vehicle and what we can provide to the driver. So invariably, we'll always upgrade the driver. The vehicle, more often than not, will be less than 2 years old. So, we'll go like for like, but most cases we'll upgrade a driver to a better quality standard of vehicle. So the driver's happy, and most importantly, he's back earning and on the road the day after.
You take care of things end to end, so from credit hire all the way through to the repair.
We do.
Driver back on the road.
We do, right? Yeah. Both two and four wheels.
Right.
I
remember you telling me before about the motorcycles and even bicycles. I think.
That's right. Yeah. My expertise is taxis. So that's what I know about. And we get people back on the road hopefully within 24 hours.
Perfect. Even unicycles.
I don't think. We could probably provide a unicycle.
Anything that moves, we'll do it. Is there a peak time for accidents? When you look at the KPIs, you think, it's bad weather, it's autumn, it's dark. There's a gale coming. Is there a time where you can literally see it suddenly jumps like that? And
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Autumn, winter time, freezing conditions, bad weather, rain. People are in a rush. You put your foot on the brake. It doesn't stop. Straight into the back of another vehicle. So
So actually, you're looking out the window and going, "Great, it's bad weather. This is good for business."
Listen, we all do in the taxi industry. As an operator, when it used to rain and hard, then we knew those taxi journeys were coming in. So through the summer we get a bit miserable because we don't want a sunny day. It's like students are walking.
Well, the other thing drivers moan about having to put aircon on as well because it uses too much fuel.
Especially if you're in an electric vehicle.
Of course.
How are you finding electric cars with taxi drivers? Is the take of, I know we opposite, from an insurance point of view, are you finding more and more it's EVs, or is it still stuck in the hybrid?
No, we're still heavily focused on hybrid. Although obviously with the new legislation in and around London, then we're gearing up for full electric vehicles. So we have decent fleets of full electric.
What would happen though? Obviously, we've recently announced about driverless cars coming to the UK and then testing that. Is that going to put you out of a job when you've got no driver to compensate?
It's something that you're looking at very closely at. If I'm being honest with you, even as an operator, are you guys? You've got to try and understand where it's going to take us. Not everybody will be driverless. There'll always be accidents on the road. And if there is, and it's a non-fault, then there is a need for another driverless car. So I suppose that's something that we will.
10 years from now, we'll be talking to no one on this podcast. Probably like now, to be fair. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because certain jobs you can see a driverless car wouldn't, social care, contracts, an escort, maybe out in rural areas. And also be customers' choice, but I think customers eventually will feel they're paying a premium for a driver. Money talks if they get a job that is free, because it might be sponsored by commercially by somebody to do the journey for free. But we obviously, none of us want to be the Kodak of the taxi industry, so we have to adapt and so on. But I personally would prefer to have a driver in a car.
I think you'll probably see it in built-up areas and city centres, but as you've said, the rural areas, social care, school runs,
NHS.
I think we're going to have to still see that there is a driver.
Because how many times do we help Mrs. Miggins with her shopping? Exactly. We open the boot, we put it in, we go door-to-door service, pick her up, and.
But I'm going to be slightly controversial. So the ride hail apps. Lots of drivers, you get in the vehicle, you don't get a conversation out of them.
No.
So they're kind of conditioning passage to not have conversations with the driver. So it's slightly controversial that that's potentially what they've pushed their customers to.
Yeah.
But then there's also reassuring as well, I think, from a passenger point of view, to have somebody there that you can talk to, especially if you're in a city outside of your own region.
Yeah, because what happens, you're in a driverless car, suddenly there's a solar storm, and let's say it knocks out the satellites.
Yeah.
I'd be thinking about that.
But bring back the old-fashioned hybrid car.
Yeah. It'd be a bit like riding a horse without taking the reins, just sitting there. It's So I think there's a lot of things to overcome, and yes, they might start testing, but I still think we're probably 10 years away.
Easily, yeah.
I think drivers have got to be very, very careful. You hit the nail on the head with drive hailing. We've got to support the taxi industry. We've got to support Take Me. We've got to support that brand and keep it local, definitely.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I mean, the strange thing is, there's probably more private hire taxis than there is ride hail. But all different brands. So we know, for example, with iCabby, there's 50, 60,000 vehicles, which is possibly larger than.
It's larger than the ride hail community.
So it is. You just need to work together. And
absolutely,
together, which I think the trade is beginning to do. Isn't it?
Starting to collaborate.
It is. Collaboration's the future. It always has been. Back when I started, 2010, 2011, it was all about collaboration. I came from a business background. And I didn't understand when I joined the taxi industry. It's very different, you can throw your business book out of the window because everybody didn't want to speak to each other. Whereas I came into the industry and I wanted to talk to everybody. I wanted to have conversation with my peers, with so-called the enemy, and I made it work. We joined forces. Things that I couldn't accommodate if it was the wrong side of Manchester, we worked together as teams.
And I think that's part of it, isn't it? Is that people need to understand there's no hidden agenda.
No,
we're all trying to work together.
Yeah, it's very insular, as we know, the tax industry, and getting over those certain barriers and hurdles is quite difficult, especially if you're not from the industry. We spoke before about look at my, we've all seen my face before, we've all seen David, we've all seen your face before, and that to walk through a door, a taxi an operator's door, you're okay, but if they don't know your face, you're not getting through the front door. So it is.
Yeah,
it's quite difficult.
Once you kind of establish that face and you're part of the community,
it's okay.
It's not about what you're selling. It's about here's Julian Barnes.
Exactly.
And then that is first. And then
your reputation goes literally. Your reputation goes before you.
And it's helpful that you've been on both sides of the fences as well, because you understand both needs.
I've seen. So it's so easy for me to walk into a taxi base because whatever they're about to talk to, I can talk about the system, I can talk about the drivers, I can talk about vehicles, insurance, accident management, anything you want really. I've got a basic knowledge.
Sure.
Well, what system were you on in your days at Crystal? Was that AutoCAD? AutoCAD.
I think I've heard of them.
To be fair, I say this all the time. It's a cracking system.
It's a good system, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
Again, in my day, I couldn't differentiate between the two.
Yeah,
and it was difficult to make that move.
Especially being Manchester based as well, that might have had some bearing.
It had its benefits.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So next to you there's a box.
Yes.
Now this box is full of it's a sack full of surprises in there. To be honest, it's lost property that we've literally retrieved from our cat. So if you want to pick up the box. You're going away on holiday, so maybe pick something up for the mother-in-law.
Take it away with you.
Oh, there you go.
Come on. I've got to do yeehaw with this on.
Nice.
Hey, mate. I'd like to come to your rodeo. In fact, we had Paul from Elite Taxis on recently. He actually chose the pink hat as well, so he left it here to take it home.
I'll take this for my wife.
There you go. Nice. Good. Yes, just to verify my sexualism. Take it for the wife, not for Paul Elite. So we're going to play a game now. It's called True or False.
Okay.
The rules are pretty simple. You tell a story, and we have to guess, myself, Chris, and the crew here, whether it is true or false. Okay. So we'll just run the titles, and then you go straight into it. Welcome back to Taxi Talk. given up. Anyway, we've got a great new competition. If all you have to do is like or subscribe, because it really is important to us to get the subscriptions up. So please do subscribe. And if you do, on December the 1st, just before Christmas, we will be giving away 20, 40, 60, 80, 100.
And a mug.
200. You're not meant to speak, Steve. It's 200. 300. We're giving away £20, okay? £320. So please like, subscribe, and this money here on this desk, plus this cigarette, will be winging its way to you for Christmas and a Snickers bar. Right, so go on then, Julian, your true or false story.
Okay, so I'll go back to my taxi operator days, I think, and we picked a young male up from a burlesque club in Manchester.
Okay.
Dropped the guy off, and he quickly realised that he'd left his bag in the car, in the taxi. He phoned our base, and at the time we had a big lost property bay, and the drivers would come in, hand whatever that people had dropped off, we'd stick it in the lost property bay, we'd tag it up, put a reference number on it, and wait for the customer to call. This guy hesitantly called the day after and said, I think I may have left a bag in the back of one of your taxis. Can you please check that it's there? And whatever you do, don't look in the bag. So,
of course,
what do you do when somebody says, don't touch that switch?
I don't even think he could have finished the sentence.
Yeah, I went straight downstairs.
Open the bag.
To open the bag. And what did we see?
A dead guinea pig.
No. Butt plugs, dildos, chains, whips, you name it, it was in there. So, shut the bag, and he gingerly walked into the office, collected his bag, and then walked off into the distance.
Did he walk like that with all those butt plugs?
He walked like that.
Can I ask a follow-on question? Was it Paul from Elite? Sorry, Paul.
So, okay, well, I'm going to... this was easy, isn't it?
It's got to be true.
This is so easy. You can't make that up. And if you do, you're perverted. So I think it's true.
Me too. I think it's true.
And we're just going to go for the crew now. So we'll go with Jake.
True.
Phil?
That's got to be true. It's got to be true.
I'll go false, just to be a bit different.
Sam?
I'm going to say true.
True then. True. Yeah.
True. You liked that story, didn't you? I heard you laughing. Okay, Julian, is it true or false?
I've been thinking about this long and hard, and the answer is Mrs. True.
Of course.
Big fat true.
Big fat true. Was he a regular?
He was, yeah.
He was after that.
Mr. Redface munched in and then munched back out.
Oh, but he never left
his bag of tricks.
Never left his butt plugs in your office again.
I've got quite a few.
I hope they were clean.
Well, on that bombshell, you hear it first. If you want to find out more about Edge, if you're watching on YouTube, they will put a link in below. Join us next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Going back to what you were saying, the reason why we did this was because we couldn't get the UK any drivers to come through quick enough. We could get the business, we could get the vehicles, we could get everything else except the drivers. Hence, that's why we used the facility of Adam and his company, and it was the best thing that ever happened to us. It really, really was.
So the journey took us to, obviously, we all know about Uber entering the marketplace and how they had structured their business by the driver relationship being predominantly with an offshore entity, and we looked at utilising Ireland. predominantly because of Patrick's connections with Ireland, being an Irish national, and found that we could replicate that model
In Ireland.
In Ireland, we didn't obviously we don't have the language barrier, so that was a great reason. In Dublin Airport, there are honesty boxes for water.
I know.
We know.
We've thrown plenty over each other.
Yes. How many times has Ashley actually thrown the water over the balcony at unsuspecting passengers that he wasn't with? Yeah,
And then you're saying that Ashley would then go to the top balcony and pour the water over